There we go. Yo, what's going on? Jeffrey, you're here early. What's up, man? How you doing? What's going on? Anybody else in the chat? Hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all are having a good Saturday. Jeff, if you're still in here, let me know if you're gonna get on later tonight so we could play. I'm on streaming a little later than what I thought I was going to. That's my bad. I set this up and everything. I was setting it up to start streaming at 6, but yeah, I had a whole bunch of stuff to do. Got home later than usual. And yeah, I had to clean up some stuff too, but yeah, at least I guess at least I'm here. What's going on, man? How's work? I assume you're off of work right now, Jeffrey, right? We'll see. Yo, yeah, if you decide to play, let me know. My bad. Let me throw this in the Discord really quick. I almost forgot. No. Oh, you're on the way home. Well, hope you drive safe. Why are you texting on here then? Stop texting and driving, Jeffrey. Drive back home safe, mate. For real. But yeah, again, let me know if you decide to get on. We can play something, hopefully. I might be free for the night, so we might be able to actually play. I am reading, or I'm going to be reading pretty soon. Yeah, this can go either two ways right now. It can either be a very, well, not very, it could be either a somewhat short-ish stream, or it can be a decently long stream, like how we usually run with, or maybe even a longer than usual stream. But we'll see how that plays out. Yo, but we're gonna jump on into this in just a second. Let me click on this. It should put me where I left off last. Where am I? Okay, yeah, so we're right here on, what chapter are we? I think we're on like chapter 2 or no, we're like on chapter 3 maybe, but part 2 of that possibly. But we'll find out in just a little bit. But last time we read going on the light novel, it was pretty freaking good. Man, like this is the most fire start, or one of the best starts of a light novel for the Rascal Does Not Dream series that I've read personally, almost out of all of them so far. So it's been really, really good. I don't know. I think maybe Volume 9, I don't even know if Volume 9 gives it a run for its money. I'd say that this one is a lot more I don't want to say a lot more interesting, because the other ones were interesting too, but it was really engaging, like right off from the jump, with seeing Kunimi, or hearing about Kunimi and Futaba and Sakata all being together, having that nice little reuniting and stuff, and then having all the Yukumi Akagi stuff, the Toko Kirishima stuff being kind of revealed to us, and at least more expanded of a way than what it was last time. So it was really fucking hype. I loved it. I was eating it up. I was like, I want to read more of this, but I was running out of time at the time. But man, it was really freaking good so far from what we read so far. But other than that, Yeah, like we're in the Yukumi Akagi stuff. It left off on a pretty like almost ominous note, I guess, somewhat. Like I think the last time we like saw anything was when Yukumi Akagi was off to go save people again. She's in her hero little stuff that she's doing, where she's able to find out what's going on, and pretty much just go stop the bad things that are going to happen. So yeah, we're going to see what goes on with that. I'm sure that there's some sort of repercussions to her changing some of that stuff, and yeah, it's not going to be a good thing, and we're going to find out how they deal with it. Hey, get over here. My bad, my cat's in the room right now, so he's over here like messing with stuff. But yeah, let's start off here. So, part two. When Sakata got to the cram school, he found Rio in the free space outside the faculty area. She was already wearing her teacher's jacket, a blazer that looked a lot like a white lab coat. She was talking to a boy in a Minagahara uniform, a pretty tall one, at least a head taller than she was. The dots connected. The basketball kid Kunimi mentioned. 2 years younger than them, a second-year player, Rio was explaining how to solve a problem, and he was listening intently. You calculate the momentum first, she said, or she started writing a formula in a notebook on the table. She leaned forward to do so, which put her closer to the student. That must have gotten him because he leaned back, keeping his distance. The way he spoke was a bit tense, standard enough for a boy talking to a girl, but it felt like there was a bit more going on. His eyes were less on the pen running across the page. Bet he's doing something skeevy. Then Rio's expression. Then you just follow the. Wait, what did that say? So it says his eyes were less on the pen running across the page than Rio's expression. Oh, okay. Then you just follow the formula. Give it a try. Rio looked up as she finished writing. Her eyes met the boy's, and he quickly turned his gaze toward the vending machine. Ah, youth, that made it pretty hard to miss. Are you listening? Rio asked. I'm listening. A low, steady voice. You understand? I do not. Because you weren't listening. Sorry. As Sakata watched this, both noticed him looking. Thank you. I'll give it another try, the tall boy said, closing the notebook before heading off to a self-study room. Ask again if you get stuck, Rio called. Will do, he said, turning back and bowing. This time the door closed behind him. Kunimi's kohai? Seems like. He got a name? Toranosuke Kasai. Her eyes told him that she was, her eyes told him that she was wondering why he'd asked. Just thought it could get interesting. Rio didn't seem to catch his drift. That wasn't like her, but she did seem like the type to be oblivious to this kind of attention. It was much easier to see from the outside. I've got a class to prep. Oh wait, Futaba. What? You heard of that hashtag dreaming? Of course. It really is a thing. Maybe it was something people naturally stumbled across by virtue of using a phone regularly. Is this Toko Kirishima related? Akagi was using that hashtag to play hero. Probably still was, given the way that she'd acted. Then, when she left, Sakata was confident she was on her way to save someone else. What for? Just can't leave well enough alone, I guess. She started a volunteer club, too. That girl's big on helping people. Was she like that back in the day? I think she was, like class president or on the student council. He really didn't remember. There were 30 kids in class, and you could easily go the whole year without speaking to some of them. To Sakata, that's all Yukumi Akagi had been. But from what you've said, this isn't actually her adolescent syndrome. Wasn't that the whole premise here? That it was. Yukumi was just using hashtag to help people, but the posts tagged dreaming were all being independently posted by total strangers. Oh, my bad. Give me one sec. Sorry, I thought I saw something strange on my screen. But what'd they start off with? Okay, we're all being independently posted by total strangers. She'd seen one of those and used it to help save the little girl from the pumpkin lantern. That was all. No part of that gave any hint as to what Yukumi's own adolescent syndrome might be. The matter resolved itself without anything like that getting involved. Futaba, what's your take on it? If it's not causing problems for her, you should let it be. Rio had a point there. If she's being a hero and running a volunteer group, then I don't see how she's suffering from adolescent syndrome. That's the thing. Yukumi seemed untroubled. In every case of adolescent syndrome Sakata had previously encountered, the afflicted had been driven into a corner. There were usually strong emotions involved, but he didn't sense anything like that coming from Yukumi. The only exception had been Ozuki's case. No dramatic changes, just a gradual shift. That's true. Before she knew it, she was different. Nice, huh? Having someone beside you play hero? Rio slapped his shoulder with her file like she was congratulating him on a job well done. Then she headed into a study pod. It is high time I left adolescence behind, Sakata muttered. He went into a locker room to change. After an overview of the midterms, he spent a good 15 minutes teaching his students how to solve quadratic functions. Sakata-sensei, we need a break. I'm totally fried. Kento Yamada wailed, collapsing onto the desk. His uniform jacket was slung over the back of his chair. It was from Minagahara, the same place Sakata had gone. His other student, Judy Yoshiwa, wore the same uniform, except it was the girls' version. The two of them were seated at a long table built for three, an empty seat between them. There was a whiteboard on the wall across from them, and that was Sakata's default position. Sometimes he drew on the board, sometimes he taught while hovering over their notebooks. He'd finished explaining how to solve things, and they were tackling practice problems. Kento's focus had run out before he managed to get through them all. Yamada, this class lasts another half hour. Cram school classes were a full 80 minutes. That's an eternity. Compared with the length of the high school classes, it was certainly pretty long, but from a teaching perspective, it went by surprisingly quick. It's a teacher's job to keep their students motivated. Kento snarked, chin on the table. Sakata glanced at Judy, who'd been studiously working on the problems, and she was stifling a yawn. Not as blatant as Kento, but her focus was clearly flagging too. Okay, we'll take 5. Yes, he said. Sakata was still getting paid for it, which made him feel a bit guilty, but if his students wanted a break, who was he to argue? Still, 5 minutes in silence would put them both to sleep. You heard of this hashtag dreaming thing, he asked? Do you believe that stuff, Sakata-sensei? That's bad news. Not as bad as your midterm scores, Yamada. He'd been shown answer sheets with a big old 30 at the top of them, worse than he'd feared. Since he was tutoring the kid, Sakata would have liked if he got good grades. I had a dream come true, Judy said, breaking her silence. A month ago, I dreamed I'd score a winning point with a service ace. She meant in a beach volleyball match. Judy was on a Hiratsuka team. The reason she was still sported a healthy tan in November was easily explained by her sport of choice. I posted about it with the hashtag, and then it came true in the match last Sunday. But you also practiced like hell before it and landed exactly the serve you wanted, right? Kento said. He was still flat on the desk, sounding bored. Judy took a good long look at him. Perhaps she hadn't expected it from him. Trust yourself, not this supernatural crap, Kento said. Totally oblivious. You took what I said way too seriously, she said, already back to her usual self. She wasn't looking in his direction anymore. That wasn't on purpose. Kento shot up in open denial. It was apparent he felt called out. Meanwhile, Judy's eyes were locked on Sakata. Then you're just being creepy. Creepy? That's so not fair. Never said I was, she snapped. Before he could argue further, there wasn't much he could say to that. His lips flapped for a minute, and then he looked around for help. Let's keep it down, Futaba-sensei's teaching next door, and I don't want her telling me off again. No sooner had the words left Sakata's mouth than there was a knock on the cubicle wall. See, she's here. He turned to the entrance, ready to get an earful, but the face peering around the partition was not Grumpy Rio. It was a girl in a Minagahara uniform, one he'd spoken to, Sada Himeji, one he'd spoken to once before. Her name was Sada Himeji. She bobbed her head, wavy hair swaying. Sorry, is this a good time? She looked like she was just you were just chatting. Seemed like you were just chatting. Huh, Himeji? Kento swung around to stare, his voice cracking. Funny seeing you out of school, Sada said with a giggle waving. Kento's grin got real sloppy. It was obvious he was too embarrassed to wave back and unsure what else to do with himself. Judy glanced once at the two of them, then looked away. What brings you here, Himeji? Sakata said. She wasn't his student, so he figured she wasn't here for him. Oh, okay, so this is like the beginning of Sada Himeji becoming Sakata's student. I was wondering how that was going to pan out, if that was going to happen in the next light novel that's supposed to come out, volume 12, or if it was going to, like, the setup of that was going to happen in this light novel. So I guess this is the beginning of that. That's pretty interesting. Okay. So, mind if I sit in on one of your classes, Asasagawa-sensei? Like I said, if you actually want to understand the math, Futaba-sensei's a better choice. But if I want to pass my tests, you are, she said, winking at him. That's certainly my intent, but my confidence has been badly shaken. How so? She asked, long lashes fluttering. Yamada here got a 30. Sakata-sensei, that's private information. What an idiot, Judy said with her chin in her hand. Hey, Kento said before he could protest any further. Sada sat down in the vacant middle seat. Oh, it is a 30, she said, examining his answer sheet. That shut Kento up quick. He turned forward, back perfectly straight. Speaking of that, I'm over here like slouching like a weirdo. I should be sitting up straight too. Like I need to take that advice, or at least I guess the learning behind that as advice. He turned forward, back perfectly straight. Boys were so obvious. And the finishing blow. Let me share your textbook, Sada said, her shoulder bumping his. Mine? We're classmates, right? Oh wait, we're classmates, right? He was doing his absolute best to act like he didn't get to, like this didn't get to him. Hold on, let me reread that part. So okay, so he said he turned forward, back perfectly straight. Boys were so obvious, and the finishing blow. Let me share your textbook, Sada said, her shoulder bumping his. Okay, to Kento. Mine, he says. We're classmates. Right, okay, so she's like messing with Kento kind of. He was doing his absolute best to act like this didn't get to him, and Sakura had to try to equally hard had to try equally hard not to laugh, but he decided it was best not to leak any personal information, so he called an end to the break and resumed his lesson. Okay, so we're on to part 3 of this now. So far so good, getting some Sada Himeji in there, getting to see some more banter between, Sakata and his classmates and his like dynamic between them. I know he's like new to the whole teaching thing, so it makes sense on him struggling, I guess, to be able to keep their attention in some sorts of ways. So yeah, I guess he's like, hey, let's try to figure something out maybe, or hey, let's take 5. I could tell you guys are not paying attention or kind of getting a little bored or whatever it may be. He needs them to be engaged to properly be able to. Oh, drop my phone. But to properly be able to like work on stuff and everything and get what they're talking about and teaching and everything. Okay. Cool. Let's jump back into it. So the class started at 7 and wrapped up exactly 8 minutes later at 8:20 p.m. Sakata erased the formulas on the whiteboard and left the learning room. Kento always left his chair askew, but this time Sada had straightened them all out. Wait, give me 1 sec. Let me put that down. Yo, Kartik, what's going on? I haven't. What's happening, man? I was wondering. I was like, I hope I remember like when I started like streaming again, because I remember I took a break from it. I remember you used to be in the streams a lot, and I was like, oh yeah, like Kartik's usually here, Jeffrey's here, and stuff like that. But I was like, oh yeah, Kartik hasn't been here for a while. But I remember you mentioned something about school or like going to college or something like that. So I was like, oh, your boy's probably off, doing the college thing, being really really busy and stuff. So yeah, I never really questioned it too much. But yeah, what's going on, man? Hope you're doing good. Hope everything's doing well with you and your family and stuff. I know it's busy times all the way around. I was busy for a bit too, but yeah, I hope you're doing good, man. Yeah, there's a lot to catch up on. A lot of Rascal Does Not Dream stuff. But okay, let's jump back into this real quick. So Kento always left his chair askew, but this time Sada had straightened them all out. He spent 10 minutes logging what he taught today in the teacher's room. The principal caught him and asked about Sada, which took about 5 minutes. Then he hit the locker room to change, saw Rio at her desk and said bye, and was out the door 20 minutes after classes ended at 8:40. He should make it home before 9. Mai was coming over to cook dinner, so the sooner he could get home, the better. The elevator arrived and he stepped on board, hitting the button for the ground floor. Oh wait, Sada slipped through the doors as they started to close. Safe, she exclaimed. I'm afraid you're out, he said. He'd reached for the open button but retracted his hand at the last second. The doors closed and the elevator began to descend. Asasagawa-sensei is far too long. Wait, what? Asasagawa-sensei is far too long. Can I call you Sakata-sensei like Yamada does? He really doesn't make that seem like a term of respect. Kento's attitude was more like he was talking to a friend. Then I'll just call you Teach, she said with a giggle. How'd I get to be so approachable? You don't seem like a teacher, in a good way. If you say so. The elevator reached around the ground floor. Sakata followed Sada out. Both turned towards the station. You take the train from here, Himeji. I live over by Kataseyama. Yeah, Kataseyama. So my mom picks me up. I should hear from her any minute. Sara pulled her phone out of her pocket on her satchel. As she did, the hand towel in the same pocket fell out. You dropped something, he said, kneeling to grab it. Oh, I got it, Sada said, hastily bending over to do the same. By the time he realized the threat, it was too late. There was a loud clunk that echoed through his skull. They both bent down and thumped their heads together hard. Ow, she said, clutching it with both hands. There was a throbbing pain in his forehead too. You okay, Teach? My head's like a rock. It feels like mine split in two. Oh no, let me take a look. She put her hands on his shoulders, stretching as high as she could. This was a pose that could easily be misconstrued. You're totally fine, she huffed, and then laughed. Here, he said, handing her the towel. Thanks. Oh, it's my mom. Her phone had started ringing, and she picked it up. I'm outside. Be right there, she said. Then she looked at him. Okay, Teach, gotta run. She bobbed her head and ran off towards the roundabout, leaving him with an aching head. She was right about the rock thing. He gingerly prodded it and found a lump forming. Oh no. Alone again, Sakata headed home, walking a bit faster than usual. The fall air was chilly, so his speed that worked up a sweat felt pretty good. He crossed the bridge over the Sakai River, waited at a light, and then went up the gentle slope beyond. Once past the park, he was almost home. He caught his breath before heading in. Inside the building doors, he checked the mailbox, then took the elevator to the 5th floor. He turned the key in the lock and heard voices within. Oh, my bad. Let me catch up on your message. So you said, yeah, I'm super good. What about you? Yeah, I've been busy with college stuff today. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, today's the weekend, so that's kind of why I did it. I like to, or at least I'm trying to do these more on like Friday night, Saturday night, so it's still the weekend for people in the U.S. and still possibly like Sunday, like you said, Saturday, Sunday-ish time, weekend for people overseas and stuff too, if there's any time difference there. But things are good so far, man. Yeah, things are pretty chill. We're pretty busy for like the end of July and August month for the most part, but yeah, I was able to get maybe like a couple videos out during that time, but still it was a lot of like handling different stuff and working and everything, so it was yeah, it was pretty busy on my part. But yeah, I mean, I've got some free time now, so some more free time, so I've been trying to be on the grind a little bit more. But yeah, things are good so far. I'm glad you're good. College, how's college been, man? I know it's a probably different vibe, different feel, a lot of like relation to this in some sort of way, since they're all kind of, in college now. That's kind of new to our fandom and stuff too. But yeah, I'm sure things are good over there. How's everything been going? All right. I'm home, he called, opening the door. There were more shoes than usual in the entrance. There was almost nowhere left to stand. He managed to get his sneakers off, and a girl in an apron came out to see him. Welcome home. Do you want dinner? A bath? Or... What are you doing, Zuki? He asked, interrupting her cliched routine. It was Izuki Hirokawa in the flesh. A ladle in one hand, I heard they were making curry, and I simply could not stay away. A fitting reason for Izuki. He couldn't exactly call it a good one, but if he argued the point, he'd likely be stuck at the door for quite a while. No thanks, this was his house. Zuki, you're on the cusp right now. You don't want a media circus, he said, moving down the hall. If anyone takes pictures of this, the headlines will be just be Uzuki Hirokawa's curry night. Maybe that'll net you a curry commercial. With that, he poked his head in the living room. I'm back. Welcome home, Sakata. Mai was standing there in the kitchen. She wore high-waisted, wide-leg pants and a sweater that was just on the brink of exposing her shoulders. On top of that was an apron. Two more voices greeted him, and he turned to find Kaede and Nautaka sitting in the front of the TV, only their heads looking his way. The screen was showing a tokusatsu hero show that aired on Sunday mornings. A familiar-looking villainous minion was cackling on screen, one of Sweet Bullet's many members, Hotaru Okazaki. Nautaka must have brought the recording to share with Kaede. Quite the homecoming, huh? Uzuki cried, slapping his shoulder enthusiastically. He glanced around the crowd. I could just imagine her doing that too, just because like the way she is. She's just like, I don't know, just making a joke about it. And I know I was about to say too, like, what a way to get home, where he's there with Uzuki, Nautaka, Kaede, Mai. I was about to say, like, they have a full house there pretty much, or full apartment there. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to stay somewhat consistent. I lost it for a bit there. At least, I was trying to, at least my goal, most times, I guess, before was to get a video out every week. So at least one every week. That's what I was trying to do. And I felt like I was doing pretty good with that for a bit. And then, yeah, during that time frame, like end of July, August time, I fell off my game there for a bit. I wasn't getting enough out there, at least to my liking. I think I only got like maybe 2 or something like that videos out during that time frame. But yeah, I'm trying to be a lot more consistent trying to get more than maybe like a few videos out a week now, maybe like 2 or 3 or something like that, hopefully, and then do more streams too, like this. I'm hoping to do this or do some more streams like this or do some more entertaining ones or do more like video game ones potentially if people want to watch that kind of stuff on the channel, but who knows. There is one that I really want to do that I'll kind of give like a heads up now, maybe, I guess. And I'll probably make a video about it at some point, but pretty soon. I was thinking maybe after I like finish the reading of this and we're in that kind of lapse time between this ending, or at least me finishing this and volume 12 coming out, I want to do a video, or I mean I want to do a live stream, but like a manga purchase live stream. Like I'll be buying manga on Amazon or something like that, streaming it on here, and then you guys will be able to pick the manga that I'll be getting. Like I'll give like a I guess I'll give you guys like a set limit amount of money to use for purchasing manga. So I was thinking maybe like $250 or something like that. Just put it out there like that, and you guys will be the ones to decide in some sort of way. I'm trying to figure out on what that way would be, maybe voting or something like that. But you guys would vote as to which manga I would end up getting at the end of the day, which will be, I think it would be a cool thing. I think it'll be pretty fun because you guys have recommendations for me. Like I could easily go on there and buy manga for myself that I find appealing or whatever, but it's probably just going to be like, I don't know, some stuff I already know about, or some stuff that I like I've already kind of seen the types of before maybe. But you guys might know some underground stuff, some stuff that I might not even be on, like it might not even be on my radar. So I know you guys have a lot of good recommendations, so that's what I'm kind of looking for, of like, hey, you guys have the reins to pick what manga that I end up purchasing, and then it'll all come to me, and then I'll probably like make some streams out of reading them, or make some videos out of reading some of them and giving my thoughts on some of them too, because at the end of the day, it's you guys picking them. It's your recommendations or your wants of like what manga that I end up getting. But yeah, I thought that I was thinking of doing that, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to, but it's just going to be probably after I'm done with the whole volume 11 read through stuff. My Riz ain't where I'd like it to be still. Damn, I mean, it'll get there, man. You just got to keep talking to people. Like, at least that's how I got with things. Like, I like talking to people before. I used to not be like talkative at all, really, but I remember I was like, I gotta get better at talking. I gotta get better with talking to people in general. So I really put myself out there more so. Like, you gotta get practice with it. You gotta, engage with people more, at least in my experience. I don't know, it might not work the same for everybody, but at least for me, that's how it worked. I was like, let me go out there and do a lot of stuff. Let me go to, like, I'm going to school, I'm going to the gym, I'm working, I'm talking to people, and I'm doing some other stuff too. Like, I'm going to like little events or whatever. Like, at the time I was going to like anime conventions a lot and stuff. So there was a lot of places, like events, or like just places where there was crowds or just people that I'd have to engage with. And that made me talk to people, and it just, I don't know, it got me a lot more used to it. So that's something that really helped me. So I mean, just practicing talking to people helps a ton, man. It's not even like about like Riz in general, at least I'd say. It's just about knowing how to talk to people, and just being, being a good person, and like knowing how to engage and interact with those people, just make friends. But yeah, it'll come to you, I promise. And then, oh yeah, I'm hoping the stream. Yeah, I'm hoping that stream turns out well. I'm gonna do it, like I said, in the near future, maybe in the next coming weeks or something, maybe in like 2 weeks or something, because I'm doing this one now. Plan to do part 3 of this maybe next week most likely, or next weekend, and then the following weekend I'm hoping that we can do that manga stream where you guys pick what manga I buy and stuff. So that should be fun. Yeah, it's all about practice, man. Yeah, I used to be like super, like, again, like I said, I used to be super quiet, and I think this stuff helped me too, like making videos and everything. That helped me a lot. Learning how to talk to the camera, at least in some fashion, that lets me practice talking in some sort of way. So that helps me a lot too. At least with public speaking, it helps me, and as well as talking to other people as well. I got sidetracked. I'm sorry, guys. But let me go ahead and find my spot again. They were just talking about this stuff at the end over here with the Hotaru girl, the recording that they got. So quite the homecoming, Uzuki cried, slapping his shoulder enthusiastically. He glanced around the crowd. I'm sure are a lot of you, he said. That's what I was saying. And this was his honest impression. You're the last arrival, so go wash your hands and take a seat. Aw, I thought I'd get to spend some time with you, Mai. But he stumped off to the washroom, rinsed his hands, and gargled. And you will when we eat, Mai quipped. He took her at her word and sat down at the table. Here, Mai said, putting an oblong plate of curry in front of him. It was very runny, more of a soup curry. The scent of spices was tantalizing. I've still never tried curry in my life, and I'm scared to try it because I know there's a lot of spicy curry out there, and I'm worried it's gonna like mess up my stomach the day that I do decide to try it. But one of these days I'm gonna try curry, I promise. Okay, so the scent of the spices was tantalizing. It consisted of pretty basic ingredients, just chicken and fried veggies, potatoes, eggplant, and zucchini. Everyone helped chop the veggies, Mai said, taking off her apron and sitting down across from him. She kept her promise to stay with him as he ate. He scooped up a lump of potato. It was a decidedly square piece. Toyohama handled the potatoes, I see. Don't grumble, eat. That doesn't even count as a complaint. Whatever the shape might be, the hot potato matched the spiciness of the soup perfectly. Even Nadaka's handiwork couldn't ruin that. His next spoonful of soup featured the eggplant. It was not well chopped, just roughly quartered, but it had absorbed some oil while frying, and that made it glisten up appetizingly. Kaide did the eggplant. Wait, Kaide did the eggplant? Will you shut up and eat? I haven't said a bad word yet. There was an old saying about not letting your wife eat autumn eggplant. He could see why they wouldn't want to share. Jeffrey. Sorry for taking you off topic. I gotta catch up with the manga, and I just say random. Oh man, yeah, I know that curry is like very very big in like East, or I mean in Asia pretty much. So I think maybe in South Asia specifically, but I'm pretty sure just in Asia in general that's a big thing. So I'm hoping to try it pretty soon. Jeffrey, have you tried curry at all before? I think you might have. You've tried like various types of foods. Oh no, but you're good, man. I tend to go off on tangents even without you guys putting me on that stuff. I always end up going on tangents. Okay, so the last vegetable sampled was the zucchini. The green definitely gave the brown soup some much needed color. Hirokawa did the zucchini. Oh, because you're Zuki? Bingo! Uzuki was clapping enthusiastically. After he savored the flavors of the vegetables, it was finally time for the chicken. The thigh meat had been simmering for a long time to achieve maximum tenderness, and he could easily split it apart with his spoon. He filled the split with the soup, and the tingle of the spices and the umami of the meat filled his mouth with delight. It was hard not to wolf it down. My, this is amazing. Glad to hear it. She had her cheek cupped in her hand, watching him eat with a smile. My Mai is adorable again today, he said. If it had just been the two of them, this would be perfect. But were there far too many interlopers? Oh, I brought something for you, Uzuki said, already interrupting. She started rummaging around in her bag. Where'd they go? She ended up dumping the bag out. There they are. She came up with 2 slips of paper, which she brought to the dining room table. We're doing a concert next Monday at the school festival. You should come too, Mai. Uzuki put the slips of paper down. They were unmistakably her concert tickets. Which school festival? Ours, Nadaka said. Deep into the couch's cushions, she treated this place like it was her house. Peering closer at the tickets, he saw that they did bear the name of their college. So they're having it at the Yokohama school. Okay. Alright, Sweet Bullet is a special guest at this year's festival, Uzuki said, throwing up a peace sign. Making your triumphant return already? Uzuki had, of her own accord, dropped out of college a week ago. Naturally, this must have been arranged before that happened, and her sudden withdrawal probably horrified a number of people involved. Why don't you know about this? Kaide asked. Nobody told me. I thought Uzuki had. I thought I had. Nobody bought Uzuki's excuse. It was more of an admission of guilt. Well, I'll certainly take the tickets, but are you working? That was the first and greatest hurdle. I left that day open so the two of us could make the festival rounds. First I've heard of it. I held my tongue in case a last-minute job came in, forced me to back out, and then left me stuck doing whatever you dream up as a payback. How's your schedule Monday? Kaide, can you take my shift at the restaurant? Can't. Komi and I are hitting the concert. She proudly flourished her pair of tickets. These were obviously as also a gift. Guess that leaves Koga. Should I ask her for you? Kaide reached out for her phone. Wait, hold on. Give me 1 sec. I gotta reread this really quick. Sweeple is a special guest at this year's festival. Uzuki said, throwing up a peace sign, making your triumphant return already. Had her own accord, dropped out of college. Okay. Okay, cool. I just wanted to make sure of things. How's your schedule Monday? She proudly flourished. Okay, so guess that leaves Koga. Should I ask her for you? Kaide reached out for her phone. Please, just a sec. Kaide started tapping her screen. She was probably messaging Tomoe. That very instant, she's writing back. She would be fast. Tomoe was a very modern high school girl, and her phone was her best friend. She's got a hankering for the cream puffs from the shop by the station. Tell her I'll buy her 10. She already added 1 is plenty. She'd known exactly what he'd say. That was Laplace's demon for you. Can't wait to have a campus date with you, Mai. At least mention the concert, Nautaka snapped, vaulting to her feet. Mai, Uzuki, and I are heading back first. We'll run the bath. Oh, thanks. The little hand was almost at 10. Bye, Nautaka waved and headed for the door. Kaide, Sakata, thanks for having me. Mai, you will, still will be. Wait, what? Kaide, Sakata, thanks for having me. Mai, you still will be. What does that mean? What? Okay. Wait. I'm still like trying to wrap that little last sentence out. Because I thought they were just saying, thanks for having me, and now she's saying, Mai, you still will be. Okay, is she like still having them, I guess, at some point? Uzuki went after her. Sakata got up to see them out. Uzuki, you're staying at my... Oh, okay. That's what that meant. I was like, what does she mean by that? I was like so stumped. Uzuki, you're staying at Mai's place? He asked as she put her shoes on. Mwahaha. He got a mysterious chortle in return. No doubt she was boasting. This bath is the perfect excuse to see how Nautaka's grown. I'm not bathing with you, Uzuki. With that curt remark, Nautaka was out the door. Aw, we gotta share? Uzuki threw her arms around Nautaka's back. Oh, Kaide, see you later, she yelled, waving through the closing door. Right, Kaide managed to wave just before the door fully shut. With their exit, the house felt quiet again. Normalcy had been restored. He locked the door and headed back to the living room. Mai was already clearing the table. Mai, I'll do that. Can you make some coffee instead? Got it. You want any, Kaide? No, I'm just gonna take a bath. With that, she disappeared into her room. She soon came out carrying her pajamas. Oh, Kaide, yes? Gonna borrow your laptop later. Don't use it for anything weird. Just looking some stuff up. At this point, she was undoubtedly far better with computers than he was. The whole remote learning thing had turned it into a useful tool. After all, her school was on the computer. That's fine then, she said, and she vanished into the washroom. The door shut behind her, and he heard the lock turn. She was at an age where these things mattered. Looking up the dreaming hashtag, Mai asked. Mai asked, drying her hands. The dishes were taken care of. He told her about last night in the mixer over lunch at school. Can't hurt to read a few more. He picked up 2 mugs of coffee and followed her out of the kitchen. The mugs were part of a set with animal pictures on them. Mai's was the bunny, and Sakata's was the tanuki. She'd picked that for him on the grounds that their eyes looked alike. There were 2 other mugs from that set on the shelf. The panda belonged to Kaide, and the lion was Nautaka's. They bought all 4 in the spring when they went to see the pandas at the zoo together. He put the bunny and tanuki mugs down on the dining room table, then took a seat on the couch in front of the TV. Kaide's laptop was on the coffee table, and he opened the lid. As he pressed the button, or the power button, Mai said, Oh, Sakata, take this. She handed him a blue envelope. Kaide said it came today. It was addressed to Sakata Asasagawa. The neat handwriting alone told him who'd sent it. For one thing, nobody else sent him letters. He opened it up, took out the missive within, and unfolded it. Has autumn arrived for you yet? We're still stuck in summer. I've included... Oh, it's Shoko. I was about to say, who's sending him letters? But I was like, oh yeah, it is Shoko. We're still stuck in summer. I've included a photo to show you, Shoko. See what I did there? Nice and short. Photo, and there. Mai picked up the envelope he dropped on the table and took out the picture. Here, she said, holding it up for him. Mountainous clouds against the mountainous clouds against the blue of the sky. The clear waters of the southern seas, too beautiful to look real. Shoko was standing barefoot on the soft sand, smiling. She had the hem of her t-shirt knotted in on one hip, healthy legs peeping from below short culottes. She had her hands up, framing a heart-shaped rock out in the surf. Without question, quite a lot of work had gone into placing the camera and the angle of the shot to make it look like that, and she'd written, "I love you," next to the heart. Shoko's becoming more and more like the bigger one that she is. The way that she acted was one thing, but she'd also grown quite a bit since her move to Okinawa. Her face was shifting from little Makinohara to the older Shoko. When they'd met, she was in her first year of junior high, but now she was in her third, so she's going to be going to high school soon. How time flew, and time naturally led to growth, and knowing she had that time gave him warm fuzzies. "I can't let my guard down," Mai said. She put the photo down and reached for the coffee mug on the dining room table. He said, not sure what she meant. This earned him a cross look. "She'll turn into your first love before long." In the photo, she was already starting to look like her. "Oh," he nodded. "Thrilled?" Mai asked, settling down next to him on the couch. "Sure, I mean, this spring she'll be in high school, like she dreamed about." The odds had been against her surviving junior high at all. Despite the doctor's warnings, she'd lived and was now on the cusp of high school. That meant more for her than Sakata's own higher education. He'd been born with a healthy body. Shoko's life now had a future. She was living that out. How could he not be thrilled? "Now I sound like the bad guy." Mai stuck out her lower lip, then took a sip from her mug in her hands. Oh, my cat scared me, my bad. I was like, what was that? He was like right here. He like jumped up, or like his head was up here for a second. My bad, I haven't checked on the chat in just a sec. Have you caught up on the JJK stuff? Oh, for the anime, I just caught up just yesterday, and it's been really freaking good, man. Oh man, the whole Gojo stuff is, oh my boy. Yeah, I wasn't expecting to catch up on it yesterday, but I ended up doing it and watched the rest of the episodes that were out. But it's so good, man. I love Jujutsu Kaisen. Jeffrey, if you're still in chat, you need to watch the Shibuya stuff for Jujutsu Kaisen, or Jujutsu Kaisen. Damn it! But you need to watch it. It's so good. Cause me and him watched the beginning of season 2 for Jujutsu Kaisen, the whole like backstory with Gojo and Geto and stuff, and that was really good stuff. And we were like hype about it and everything, but we had yet to watch the whole Shibuya stuff that's been going on. But I finally caught up, and like I said, it's freaking hype. It's great. It's a little sucky, like sad because of what's going on, but at the same time, it's a lot of hype stuff. You know, there's a lot of cool fights, a lot of cool setup and everything for what's gonna happen with these, you know, villains and Jujutsu sorcerers and stuff. It's gonna be freaking cool. Oh, hi, kitty. My bad. He's roaming around here. But give me 1 sec. I gotta check my phone. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to call the stream. Not just yet. I'll probably give it until we get to maybe the... Oh, damn, we're a little ways away from the next freaking part. Dang, how far away are we? Dang, we're all the way back here. Maybe we can do it. What page was I on? Okay. But yeah, I'm gonna have to end the stream in maybe like 15 minutes or something like that. Yeah, I got somebody coming over right now, so I'm gonna have to stop it soon. Okay. So he was talking about Shoko here. So yeah, the odds have been against her surviving junior high. Despite the doctor's warning, she lived and was now on the cusp of high school. Okay, so it was up here. He'd been born with a healthy body. Shoko's life had now had a future, and she was living that out. How could he not be thrilled? "Now I sound like the bad guy." Mai stuck out her lower lip, then took a sip from the mug in her hands. "You put it in too much. It's really bitter," she crumbled. That somehow made him laugh. They could bicker like this because they had each other, and savoring that modest pleasure, Sakata put the letter and photo back in the envelope. By this time, the laptop had finished booting up, so he turned his attention to the screen to search #dreaming. He clicked the tag and got a whole stream of posts. He skimmed them, but didn't spot anything odd. Most were just vague memories of dreams, highly unrealistic. Few that formed any sort of story, just accounts of what they dreamed the night before. But buried in that morass, he found a few with clear dates and times set apart from the rest by weirdly vivid details. The specificity itself felt odd. Most dreams didn't come with the timestamp. Sakata had only experienced that in one dream, the time that he got caught up in Tomoe's future simulation, which he believed was real. Perhaps this was what Yukumi had latched onto. Sakata, how do you feel about your old classmates now? Mai had her legs crossed on the couch and was resting her coffee mug on her knee. Now? He didn't exactly have an answer ready off the cuff. You don't really talk about junior high, she said. I guess I don't feel much of anything. At some point, he'd stopped thinking about that stuff entirely, so he meant what he said. He had no doubts at all. It just led to too much, like meeting your first love, poking him while acting all innocent, and encountering a wild bunny girl. High time you forgot that. And just a lot happened, yeah. Going to Minagahara, making friends with Kunimi and Futaba, then you were there, and Kaide got better, so somewhere along the way, it just stopped bothering me. It wasn't like he'd forgotten everything that went down. No one there had understood him, and that left him ostracized and deeply depressed. That kind of thing sticks with you. But afterward, he'd met people who mattered, gained more than he'd lost. He didn't have any reason to stay hung up on the past. New bonds and time spent with people he cared about gradually made the darkness of those memories fade. All kinds of new experiences mingled with the old ones, turning them to shades of gray. So you've forgiven Kunimi, or so you've forgiven Yukumi Akagi for her part in it. Forgive? He'd never held anything against her in particular. All he had to do was say that. Yet the words wouldn't quite come out. He'd found a tiny little sore spot deep down inside, like the past had left a splinter slumbering at the bottom of his heart. When Sakata fell silent, Mai said nothing more. She just leaned her shoulder against his, reminding him that she was here with him. Her touch gave him comfort. Acceptance is hard, she said. For you too? I struggle every time you make friends with another girl. That's true. She puts on a straight face, I'm sure, because of all this stuff. Like, even before when she was like, yeah, it's okay if you go to the mixer stuff. But I'm sure that she was like, damn it, like, he's gonna go over there, probably meet another, like, weird girl or whatever. Probably make friends with them and everything. So, yeah, at least she's admitting to it. She made that sound like a joke, but one glance in her direction made it clear she meant it. The way she put it was gentle, but her warning was sharp as any nail. I'll try to be more careful, not getting my hopes up. Aw, if you're that confident, then you'll promise to do a thing for me, for each new girl you add. Like what? I know this one famous actress makes her husband build her a new house every time he breaks a promise. Maybe I should go apprentice myself to a carpenter, or maybe just don't cheat. She leaned on him harder. And she's not having him build them himself, Sakata had been well aware. Okay, I think I'm going to stop right here. I'm at 96%. Yeah, I'm going to have to stop the stream right here. So far, it's been, pretty good read. Not too much has gone on, just a lot of conversation, getting deeper into, I guess, Sakata's thoughts on his junior high classmates, Yukumi Akagi, finding a little soft spot there, I guess, for Sakata with, him maybe having some feelings of, I guess, anger with Yukumi Akagi because of, or I don't know, maybe he's not holding a grudge, but I don't know, he's just not feeling the greatest with her because of the fact that she didn't help him back then, but now she's having some adolescent syndrome going on and she knows that it's real now, so he's like, why didn't you believe me before, or whatever, when he was going through all this struggles and stuff back then. But yeah, some good stuff so far. Seeing or hearing about Uzuki Hirokawa again was a real treat. I wasn't expecting to hear from her for a little bit, but always a pleasure because she's one of my favorite characters. Super cute, super funny, super energetic. Love to hear it. Love to be her to be in the story as much as she possibly can. Getting some Mai Sakurajima comfort there is really nice too. But yeah, like I'm sure we're gonna get into the meat of things a little bit more. Right now, since I'm stopping it kind of early and we're not like super deep into it, we're at like 41% still, not even halfway through. Next time I do it might be either a pretty long stream, or we might break it up into a fourth part and have to do a fourth stream for it. But we'll see. We might just do a long stream next time, and we'll go through the rest of it potentially, but we'll figure that out pretty soon. And I'll make sure to let you all know in the community tab on YouTube and stuff, or make a video talking about it or something like that. But yeah, I appreciate everybody who's been watching, man. Anybody who's joined, guys, gals, anybody who's been here, I appreciate it. Kartik, love to see you again, man. Hope you get to catch some more streams in the near future, or any videos or anything like that. Anybody else who's been here, I appreciate you all for watching. Jeffrey, appreciate you for hopping in. Anybody on Twitch right now, since I'm streaming on Twitch and YouTube, I appreciate anybody who's checking out the stream on Twitch. If you guys can hop over and watch some YouTube videos that I make on YouTube, or any streams that I do post over there on that side too. The VODs are posted up on Twitch, but also on YouTube. It's a little easier to find them on YouTube. So if you don't want to watch them there, then you can catch them on the YouTube side of things, or any videos like that. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your nights. Make sure to give the stream a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel or followed me on Twitch at some point, then make sure to do that now. I'd greatly appreciate that as well. And hit that notification bell on YouTube to get notified for whenever I upload a video, go live, or do anything like that. Hope you all have a great rest of the night, and I will catch you all later. See ya.